So let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about just quitting your job, just forgetting everything that you do and say, you know what, I'm going to focus and I am going to make money by being an Instagram influencer? All right, me neither. And joining us, we have Callie House, who did exactly that. Callie, thanks for joining us here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So now you were an elementary school teacher?
I was, 5th grade.
And so you went home to your folks and you said, I'm going to give it all up and I'm going to be an Instagram influencer. And how did that go?
So it took me actually almost 2 full years to commit to actually quitting my job. And by that time, I was actually making money off Instagram. So my parents kind of felt comfortable with what I was going to do in the meantime. But it was definitely a very unconventional job that it took some convincing, I guess you could say.
All right.
Yeah.
So how did you start becoming an Instagram influencer?
So it all started back in 2015. I was just trying to stay accountable on like my fitness journey. And I started this program by an Australian trainer named Kayla Sinas, and it was called BBG. And pretty much a lot of people across the world at the time were doing this workout, and you could do it at home. So I started an account, and then I just started using a bunch of hashtags from the BBG community. And I met tons of people, like definitely in the US and then across the world. And over time, it just kind of got really crazy. Like, I guess I became like a big BBG girl. It sounds so funny. But it just really started to grow. This was before like the Instagram algorithm hit. So 2015 and 16, I was just growing by like the thousands, like every month. It was wild. So I definitely credit it to being a part of the BBG community.
Okay. And so you start gaining a whole bunch of followers, and then do brands start contacting you directly?
Yes. So my email is like in my bio, and then they just reach out. Early on, it was definitely through DMs and just, wanting to send me stuff. And then as it started to grow, I started to learn like, wow, I can actually make money off of this. So I need to stop doing all this free marketing for these people just because they're sending me a pair of leggings, for example. So that's when I really started to only reply to like emails. And then I started like deciding my rates and working with brands from there.
Yeah. How do you decide how much to charge per post?
Oh, geez. I feel like that's like such a gray area for people because a lot of people don't talk about it, but I'm definitely open about it. I had other friends pretty much in the same boat as me from this whole BBG world that I asked them, like, what do you charge? And I would read a ton of articles. So what I kind of saw at the beginning was like you charge $100 per 10K followers.
Right.
So like say I was at 100K, I'd be charging like $1,000 per post.
So when we start talking about pay per post, I mean, the number I always see is like, $1 million or $100,000 for Kylie Kardashian or something like that. Are you up to that level yet?
I am not. I've definitely got a lump sum that I was happy with. But I mean, obviously their status is so much higher than mine. Like to me, I'm just like, I'm nobody. But it's over time, I've really started to like up it. And it just depends not only on your followers, but your engagement and also like what your demographic is. Because I mean, like I have a ton of female followers, which a lot of brands love that. And it really just depends. And now I actually charge for like my time because shooting content and getting all that also isn't free.
Well, because it turns out to be a job, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it sounds so funny and so weird. I hate saying that to people like, oh, like being an influencer is challenging, but a lot of thought goes into it if you actually like care about it. So it is definitely a job.
Okay, so you mentioned changes in Instagram's algorithm. How has that affected you?
I mean, it hit me really hard when it first started happening. So I'd say I definitely was like stagnant with my growth, and engagement really dropped because it used to be chronological. So you would just, scroll and see posts as they were coming, where now it's like you're only seeing posts if they have enough traction in like the first 10 minutes. It's a really wild game with the algorithm. And I actually work with a management team, and they've helped me kind of like maneuver the craziness of what is Instagram with all these millions or billions or whatever users.
A lot of folks are saying that if you want to gain traction on Instagram right now is that you want to do stories. Have you found that to be the case?
I'm definitely very active on my stories. I probably could be even more active, but people just, it's so crazy. I've learned this through my job at SoulCycle and just through Instagram. People just want to know about your life. Like, not to say that they're nosy, but they're so curious about everything you're doing. And I know I'm guilty of it too. Like, I watch my favorite people's stories, but they just feel like they like go along with you on your day. And stories are definitely huge. Video content, I think, is just like on the cusp of like becoming gigantic.
So if you had to give somebody like one valuable piece of advice, Callie.
Ooh, I actually get asked this a lot. I definitely was asked it a ton when my page was growing. I would say it's the most annoying advice, but you really just have to like be yourself, because people can see right through fake most of the time. And you have to be posting things that you're actually passionate about, that you care about, because it'll shine through in what you're posting. And then aside from that, I think like me being in the BBG community was huge for my growth, because I was constantly connecting and like commenting and messaging. Pretty much Instagram likes people who are on their app a lot. So if the more you're connecting, the more you're, just active on the app is going to be huge. And also just hashtags in general, making sure they're like specific to what, I don't know, like niche you want to be in.
Is there a particular formula to making a great post, Callie? I mean, have you found like if you use certain words or a certain number of hashtags, then all of a sudden maybe there's more engagement?
I think one of the biggest things is the content. So no one wants to look at a like non-aesthetically pleasing photo, if I'm being honest. Like, you want to look at something that's pretty or bright or, a good photo. And so I try to keep my feed like super bright, pretty colorful for the most part. And then the other thing is just like content isn't dead yet when I talk about like captions. Like, some people don't focus on their captions, and that's great. But I think the more people will start commenting if you're like asking questions in the captions, like that's huge. Really just trying to relate and not just like say something and post a picture, more so like interacting with your audience, if that makes sense.
Oh, it certainly does. Callie, thanks for joining us, because you just passed along so much valuable information to people who are sitting there saying, you know what, I'm trying to figure out this Instagram thing and I'm not really sure. And good luck to you, and keep us posted on all your progress, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
I love stories like Callie's, because it just goes to show you that, if you have drive and if you have passion, I mean, you can really pretty much do about anything that you set your mind to. And if you have a story that you'd like to share with us, well, head over to the website, komando.com, and at the bottom of the page, just click that link that says Contact Us. Hey, thanks for watching. Now, a few things. Don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more digital know-how, check out all these other great links.